So this girl goes and she like works her first day at the parlor, and like she gets one client, and like the guy just turns over and is like, "You gonna jerk me off now?" And then she was like, "So I jerked him off."
Damn,
and then she just worked the
dude.
one day, jerked off like 3 or 4 guys, and was like, "I never did it again." And she was like, "I got fooled into being a fucking jack off artist."
Dude, a friend of mine
Hysterical.
who drove escorts picked up a girl and was like, "I thought we were just stripping," and he was like, "No, that's not what this job is." He's like, "I can leave you here and I'll call one of the other girls and pick her up for the night." He's like, and she was just like, "No." Like I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, she never worked again." He was like, "She just got in the car," and he's like, "No, this is what we do." He's like, "I can leave you and I'll just, like, one of the girls who's not working tonight, I could just call them and see if they're around. Like, yeah, I'll pick her up. It's not a big deal. It's only costing me a half an hour." And she goes, "No, it's fine." So and then and apparently she was fucked up and would never do it again.
Well,
and
yeah, sure.
What? That's so crazy.
It's
it was just like,
terrible
why
also.
did you just say okay?
Yeah, that's so weird. Most escorts are like way into it. When I was younger, I was into.
Oh, he used to
insidious
bring some of
shit.
the girls around my house, and they were just like really into like just taking money from these dudes. They were like, they
Oh
got
yeah, they
off
love
on
it. Yeah, we used to when I was used to be a criminal. Sure, and so but like
This is a no judgment.
Yeah,
zone.
yeah. So some of my, but like often some of like what we would do would just be like get calls, me and my friends, and they'd be like, "Hey, this girl was here, and these guys didn't pay her all the money they owe her," and like the girls are instructed to just be like, take the money and be like, "Okay, bye," and then we show up later that night, and we're like, "Hey, you've made a horrible mistake, and now not only are we going to collect the money, but we're going to take everything of value here, and we're going to maybe tune you up if we don't like you, you know,
Or if you even
But
resist for
all
a
those,
second.
all those girls were like so nice and like very aware of their job, like they were like professional sex workers.
They weren't like sex trafficked.
They never made it to where. So the idea of a girl just being like, "I guess I'll suck his dick if I'm here," is so weird to me, because those girls are like trying to figure out how to do sex work. They're just like, "I want to do sex work that's safe," and like they're
Make
very
money.
aware. Though some of them are also like addicted to drugs and stuff. That world is so.
Some of them are but some of them are just very like. Some of them are addicted to drugs and still just into that. Like they just get into the power play.
Well, we need to legalize prostitution so that my old job doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
you know
that's not a good job.
It's not a good job. I mean,
it's
and
scary.
that was a small part of what we did, but like, yeah, we used to just show up and be like, "Hey, I heard you shorted someone $100," and they'd be like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I would just be like,
Why the fuck would you say that?
Yeah, I would just be like, "You've talked to me incorrectly, and now me and the 7 guys that are with me are going to fucking kill you," you know?
Fuck.
Yeah.
How often would that happen with the shorting?
All the time. All the time.
Also, this was your side hustle.
Well, no, we used to just get like calls for different jobs. I mean, we would like, so if someone's like, "Hey, we've paid off this guy, you can just go rob the convenience store on this day," we would do that. Sometimes they'd be like, "This drug dealer has money here, go rob," like, you know.
But these are all different people.
They fought, no, this is one group of like your fix, and then they like farm work out.
You were like a criminal postmate.
No, so wait, hold on.
Well, that's what most criminals at the lower level are, like motorcycle gangs, you know, these kinds of guys, you know, they farm work out to us. So if you're like a mob guy or a higher level guy, or a motorcycle club like the Hells Angels, and you farm work out to smaller clubs or whatever, so that things don't get back to you.
So you were in a motorcycle gang?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, so you were in a motorcycle club, and you were a lower level motorcycle club. So these guys who are making a ton of money were like, "We don't want to deal with this. Call those guys."
Yeah, that's how just like how real business works, that's how criminality works.
Sure.
So they just
You guys were temps.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Very literally. And then, you know, you do a good job, and then they start to know that you can do work, and then
feed
they
you more
give
work.
different, feed you work. And then the work is essentially violence and then risk. Those two things together. And then, of course, so a side hustle for me back then would have been stealing cars and electronics. So we used to do something called car hopping. So sometimes we'd all get together and be like, Thursday we car hop. So we would go out on Thursday night, and then you walk down a block at 2 a.m. where all the cars are parked, and then you try to open every single door.
Oh
in
yeah,
every single car.
I've participated in this.
Yes,
activity.
and then if you see electronics or anything worthwhile, you break the window and you take it, and that's car hopping. So you can make a lot of money if you have a fix for like electronics and different things. A fence,
Dude, in a weird way, yeah, you can make. I mean, you can make $100 in an hour
Oh
when I
yeah,
was a
I
kid.
mean,
You
we
know
had
what I mean? Like,
we very rarely didn't. It very rarely wasn't worth our time on our.
I'm
worst
talking about
nights.
when I was like 17.
Yeah. And on our best nights, we would make incredible money. Like so, and then but you have to have a fence, otherwise you're in trouble. You know, and so
what are you gonna do with the fucking laptop?
exactly. So we had a fence. We would buy all our electronics and stuff, and then eventually we did get into stealing cars. And then you have a fence for cars, and then of course then you have. The higher ups or a guy who is your fix and he's like this is where you go to rob this place, this is the information, and then they cut you in on that work.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that works.
You rob a fucking stash house and then
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So
were those the
And then-
more that's a more dangerous job. You're going into
Exactly.
Or are you dealing with? You're in Utah, so it's not like you're not dealing with like.
So the West is interesting. If you were a criminal here in New York, you would probably operate in your borough. Or
Probably.
maybe even, maybe not even outside your borough. I don't know. I'm not a mafia guy. I've never known any actual mafia people. This is all motorcycle club shit and like cartel type stuff. Though not actual cartels. I'm just talking about people who
Hood
deal
Spanish
with
usually a lot of money.
Mexican gangsters,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So, but the West is all encompassing. So, like any motorcycle club that operates out west, or any like types of guys, like the West is expansive. So, like it would be Utah, Wyoming, Montana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, parts of California, Nevada, Colorado. Like, and you can move around so easily and so undetected that like. A lot of the work would not be in the city we were currently residing in.
Okay.
They would be like, hey, these fucking guys did this. This is their address. Come here, hang out for 4 days, case the place, do the job, leave. They'll never know it was you.
Yeah, because you're
whatever.
fucking, it's 2 states over.
Now, mind you, this is all guys with different face tattoos. It's probably hard to keep them all straight.
Boom. Yeah. Well, it's also been a very long time since any of this, and I just
No, of
by
course.
virtue of talking about it, it's obvious that I've done what I need to do with the government and with my former club in order to be able to talk about it.